Peace and blessings, everyone. This is Naseed Gifted, coming to you live from PBS Media Studios. And today, we got a very, very important topic for you. Today, we're going to cover the top 5 Black animated films. Top 5 Black animated films. So, without further ado, I'd like to play a song to kind of kick this whole thing off. And then we have some special guests to kind of kick off this whole thing. So, I'd like for you to tune in. Please make sure that you are in tune with everything that we're doing as we kick this off.
I am the ballad in your box, the bullet in the gun, in the glow that let you know to call your brother son. The story that just begun, the promise of what's to come, and I will remain a soldier till the war is won.
Yeah. That right there was the introduction to the Boondocks. That is the way we're going to kick off our show for today. Once again, my name is Naseed Gifted. I'm coming to you live from PBS Media Studios, and I just wanted to give you a brief introduction. I'm an educator, engineer, and writer of an Afrofuturism series called PB Soldier. And today we're going to cover the top 5 Black animated films, something that I'm passionate about, and it's something that we definitely need to see more of. But we have two special guests coming here from oh man, this guy has so many accolades, but one of the accolades that he has is he's a voice actor. He's a animation enthusiast who's super passionate about this craft. And I like to welcome Dayveonne Bussey. Dayveonne Bussey, give him a big round of applause. And also, he is one of the judges for the Kim Animation Film Festival. And then our second guest, which is Khaalis Finney, who's vice president of PBS Media, who is also animation enthused, anime, video games. This guy's into all this stuff. He's been always educating me on all this stuff. So I wanted to welcome these two guests. Big round of applause for these two individuals. Big up. Please come on in, fellas. Come on in. Say hello to the people. Say hello to the people out there.
Ladies and gentlemen, hello.
Welcome to the party.
Hey, welcome. So, I'm super excited about what we're going to be talking about today. This is definitely a topic that I'm passionate about. I know you guys are passionate about it because you guys talk to me all the time about all of these different things. But as we look at the industry and the scope and everything that's going on in the industry, we just need more of this. So we need more of this. And that's why we build, platforms like Kim Fest or Kim Animation Film Festival to be able to celebrate the Black creators in animation, gaming, and comic book creators. So that is one of the things. But today we're going to talk about the top 5. The top 5, the votes are in. So some of you have voted. Some of you have been a part of this whole thing. But right now, we know you're tuning in live. Please put your name and your location in the comments below. And if you have any questions during this broadcast, please make sure you put that in the chat below. So we're going to get started. I'm going to be sharing my screen. We're going to be talking over this whole thing. So we got a whole little presentation that we're going to be doing. Let me go right here. Go to my Chromebook. Got to get the tab. All right. And bam, from the beginning, from the tip of the top. So top 5 Black animation, Black animated films. We're not talking about series. We're talking about films here. We're not talking about series. We're talking about exclusively films. So before we get into number 5, guys, do you guys want to say something? Because I know we all grew up on Saturday morning cartoons. We just been looking at the industry at a different lens. And the whole reason that I'm in this is because I wanted more representation. And that's why we're talking about Black animated films tonight with regards to that. But if you wanted to kind of chime in and just say a few words before we reveal number 5.
I grew up watching Power Rangers. No, I'm joking. I grew up watching all the Saturday morning cartoons. Also, the afternoon blocks when after school we would run home and try to catch the Disney Channel shows. So it'd be like one of those moments like, oh God, I gotta watch afternoon block for Disney, like Darkwing Duck and Gummy Bears and all that other stuff.
Oh man.
Oh wow.
So I
Tell you. Yeah, I did the same thing. Come home, get there between 3 and 5, watching the Disney afternoon or wherever Fox had going on. Looney Tunes, Disney, a little bit of everything. Just getting out there and showing the people. Getting into cartoons, and then I started seeing other types of cartoons. I was like, wow, why aren't the lips matching up with the words? And I realized, oh, that's not from our country or anything at all. That's why I started discovering anime. I'm like, why do Voltron people got those such weird looking noses and stuff like that? It didn't occur to me. But
the world.
Yeah. So we actually took a poll with this. We did a little research. We wanted to make sure we, recognize all of the films. Of course, there's going to be critics. There's going to be people that's not going to like this top 5. But hey, this is what the votes. This is what a vote getters. And if you have some other films that you like to throw in there, put that in the comments below. Please put that in the comments below. So we're going to start it off. Drum roll, please. Number 5. Number 5 is Hair Love. Oh. By Matthew Cherry. Sony Films. So we're not going to watch the whole film, but just wanted to show you a quick clip of Hair Love and why this film actually, touches on a couple of things. First of all, it won awards. That's the first thing. So it won an Oscar. It definitely won an Oscar. So I definitely want to be able to recognize that and the hard work that Matthew Cherry and Sony Pictures Animation actually put this. This, for most people who probably didn't see the film, this was actually a feature film before Angry Birds 2. So this actually, they showcased this right before Angry Birds 2. So if you didn't see Angry Birds 2, you probably didn't see this, but you can see the full film on YouTube. You can actually go to YouTube and actually see the full film. It's 6 minutes and 47 seconds. It's a phenomenal film. It talks about a father-daughter relationship and how he has to appreciate his daughter's hair to be able to, for him to be able to actually try to tame it or actually do it. As a father with a daughter, I can relate to this film quite well. So this is our number 5 film.
I gotta admit, what really hit me with this film was towards the end when you see like the father putting the hair together, and then he takes her to see the mother who's in the hospital. And then you see that the mother is going through chemo and she don't have any hair at all. It just hits you right there where you're thinking about he's just stuck because he has to do it. But in reality, it's something that Black men don't really get a chance. Don't get appreciated for, because, we always talk about how, the Black woman's taking care of everything. But when the Black man steps up and does what he has to do to take care of his daughter, really shines a light on that. And it's not just because, the mother is just out of the picture. She's actually, laid up. So it's a full family dynamic. That's not a lot of pictures we get to see that. And that's a good part of this movie.
Yeah, the love and the care. Go ahead, Mr. Bussey.
Also, it brings up a lot of stuff that, maybe like Mr. Kinney said, like fathers and daughters relationship. So even you, Nasi, it's like y'all have that structure where you're going to have to take on certain things that if the mom's not there, you have to do it yourself.
Mm.
So I guess that's the importance of having a father-daughter relationship with, like, inside this animation film.
Oh yeah, I mean, the story. I mean, the story. You think when we talk about hair love and father doing his daughter's hair, and then like the animation and the life that they added to this film, speaks volumes. And that's why one of the reasons that this film actually won an Oscar for short films, short animated films. So this was by Sony Pictures, but I do not want to discount that this was Matthew Cherry's creation here, and then he actually had Sony Films, not Sony Films, Sony Picture Animation actually helped support this project to be able to bring it to life. Going on to number four, Princess and the Frog, which is a Disney film. I'm going to show a quick clip of that. You guys like Princess and the Frog? Put that in the comments below.
Well, Miss Tiana, rough night for tips, but every little penny counts. Don't you worry, Daddy. We'll be there soon. Good night, cows. Good morning, Dukes.
In the Southland, there's a city way down on the river where the women are very pretty and all the men deliver. They got music, it's always playing. Start in the daytime, go all through the night. When you hear that music playing, when I'm saying it make you feel alright. Grab somebody, come on down. Bring your paintbrush, we painting the town. Oh, there's some scenes going round. Catch you down in New Orleans. We got magic, good and bad. Make you happy, make you real safe. Get everything you want, lose what you have. Down here in New Orleans. Hey, partner, don't be shy. Come on down, yeah, give us a try. You wanna do some living before you die. Give it down in New Orleans.
All right, that was Princess and the Frog. I mean, there was so many gems in this movie, especially when it came out. I believe when did this come out? 2000. What this Disney film did was you had a ton of princesses throughout. Cinderella and all of these different princesses, and this was the first time that we had a black girl who was actually a princess. I mean, of course, there's some downfalls to this, but as far as representation, it did, showcase this black princess, which, little black girls can look up to.
I was going to say it came out in 2009. Just
2009, okay.
Yeah, that's really important.
Yeah.
I mean, there was a lot going on around 2009. You had the first black president, now you got the first black Disney princess.
Yeah.
I shouldn't say black, first African American, because if you think about it, you got like people like Princess Jasmine, who technically are black too, because they're from the Middle East, and those people are technically black.
Yeah.
So I don't want to say the first black princess, but she's the first African American princess.
Here we go. All right. Thank you for that. Did Mr. Bussey, did you want to kind of chime in on that? We're going to move into number 3. We'll move into number
I'm just going to bring up, since you said that movie came out in 2009, I graduated college in 2009. So, but this pretty much opened doors for us as a people, because the majority of the time we had fair-skinned princesses in Disney. Disney took a gamble and decided to pretty much, let's open the door for a black princess. So this was an open opportunity for us. And 2009 was a year that we had open opportunities, and it went forth, and hopefully this will keep continuing.
Okay. So that was Princess and the Frog, a Disney production. Moving right along, we're going to go on to number three. Number three, I wonder if you guys know what number three is out there. But number three was the Proud Family movie, which is actually another Disney production. We're going to show a quick clip of that.
Coming soon to Disney Channel, it's the Proud Family So Big.
I'm turning 16. I'm officially mature enough to make my own decisions.
So crazy.
Everybody run for your lives! It's the Sugar Monster!
So nutty. Okay, now it's time to panic.
If you want to survive, you must come with me.
That thing had turned into a movie. Yo, Oscar.
Party people make some noise!
This is a tale of the Proud Family, whose first ever movie is really crazy. Penny's 16, but her party goes by because her daddy Oscar found her kissing a guy. So mama's playing wins a free vacation, but the island where they're going is beyond explanation.
We're kind of like one big nutty family.
You got talking nuts, a mad scientist meanie, and mama's hot tubbing and losing her bikini.
Oh, I'm not wearing my swim trunks.
Neither am I.
Now the family's in trouble, and Penny's on the double. Oscar seeing millions, so he's bouncing as a bubble. Penny gets away. Can she save the day? Now that the evil doctor has something to say. Because when she gets home, her family's been cloned. Nothing's like it was, and they won't leave her alone. Get her. Well, she figures out a plan, and she's getting loud. So come on, Penny, you gotta save the Prouds.
I've got to get back to that island and save my family. Look
The Proud Family movie's got adventure and action. Comedy, talking peanuts, even great fashion.
You're the bomb.
It's all that.
Yes.
It's the Proud Family movie.
Yeah, that was the Proud Family movie. That was voted number three. You know, this was a little bit past me. But for the youth that were coming up during this time, because this came out in 2005, I wasn't watching Disney at that time, but this was actually a really good movie, you know, with regards to, and then of course this was a part of the series that they had on the Disney Channel. Today we're talking about straight films. We're not talking about series. So those were like, well, how the Proud Family and all these other things. We're talking about films. We're talking about straight films right now. So, but if you had a film that you feel would, didn't make it, please put that in the chat below. Go ahead, Mr. Bussey.
I got a question. Do she consider a princess for Disney?
You said, do we consider her a princess? Is that what
for Disney? Said? Yeah.
Who, Penny?
Yes, I was saying, do we consider her? Yeah, do we consider Penny Proud as a princess for Disney?
Well, she wasn't designated as a princess, but I would call her a princess.
Okay, so technically, I would say yes on a sneak in type tone.
That's how I would say. You know, I would throw in there.
But I would say this much: I do remember watching the show during that time because I was in high school. And also, let's bring up the movie. The movie has its quirks.
Yes, it does.
It has its moments where it does relate to a certain film I'm not going to bring up, but at the same time, it's a good film. It's also a good show.
Yep. Yeah, I think it did, I think 6 seasons. I'm not 100% sure on that, but I think it did about 6 seasons of the Proud Family. Well, we can definitely check the facts on that, fellas. Check the facts on that so we make sure that we are, you know, giving accurate information. But the number of cast members, they had a really talented cast within this series, as well as in this film. So they all were a part of this movie as well. So that's the one good thing as far as what Disney does as far as their formula. They make sure they get the top talent, and they make sure that this talent is a part of the film, you know, to make sure that it is marketed to, you know, a certain demographic, which is, African-American community or the Black community in general.
Although this series is only on for 2 seasons. It went for 52 episodes, which is an extension.
52 episodes. So generally a season is 13 episodes. So yeah, I was right with the 6 seasons just about. But
yeah, just about.
You know, But they did 52 episodes in 2 seasons. So
that's bloody amazing. But
yeah, that definitely is. That reminds me of back in the 80s when they used to do 65 episode seasons. That's what it used to be. That's what it used to be. Because you used to be able to watch something every day after school without watching a rerun. That's how it used to be. You know?
And that's how they got into syndication. That's how I learned the dirty secret behind Robotech. We'll get into that another time. But strange fact on this movie that really clicked in my head. The villain in the movie, his name is Dr. Carver, and he grows peanuts. That hit kind of hard, being that you and I, we both went to George Washington Carver Elementary School. We learned everything there is about young Dr. Carver.
Yeah, Dr. Carver and the peanut and the many hundreds of inventions between the peanut and the sweet potato. So that's one of the reasons I'm into STEM today, because of, Dr. George Washington Carver. So, we're going to move on. We're going to go into number two. Number two. It's Kirikou and the Sorceress by Michael Ocelot. So this was a phenomenal film. This actually was a French-based film first before they brought it over to the States. And actually, because of this, and I'll actually show the trailer first, and then we'll talk about it.
My name is Kirikou.
Where is the child, Kirikou?
He is going to the Cassette Spring.
No one will ever succeed in discovering the secret of the spring.
So if you haven't seen this film, this is a phenomenal film. It's about Kirikou and the Sorceress. Like I said, it was based in France by a French director, but has made its way over to the States here. It has a lot of the African culture embedded in this, as far as the folk tales and everything. Kirikou comes out of the womb talking and walking, which surprises everyone. And, I don't want to give away the whole thing, but this was a phenomenal film. It was award-winning. That's why it made it to the number 2. If you haven't seen this film, please make sure you check it out. And I actually met the director last year of this film. He is a phenomenal guy. I met him in New York City during, I'm trying to think of what was the name of the festival. But beyond that, the guy was amazing, and he talked about what inspired him to be able to do this because of the lack of representation, regarding Black and African culture. So, that was his, that's what inspired him. And I wanted you guys to kind of chime in on that real quick.
I liked it. I mean, everything I saw, the story itself, it sounds so folk-telly, and it's so weird that I think back to when we were kids, and whenever they used to talk about African stories, like the spider, Ashanti, they were always called folk tales. Like, okay, these never happened. So it never gave us a chance to connect with our own stories that came from the motherland. Like, they automatically put in our stories, oh yeah, no, that didn't happen. No spider could come alive, and then in this story, no baby could come out of the womb, start talking. And then they're like, oh, but the stories of like Athena coming out of Zeus's head, coming fully grown in armor. Oh yeah, that absolutely happened. It's just the way it just reminded me of how many stories we were just, sprinkled into the rest of the European Jack and Jill, all those other stories, which, if they are all made up, so what? But you didn't have to keep hammering it over our heads at this one.
Okay. So So if anything, please make sure you check out Curry Koo and the Sorceress. It's a phenomenal film. I'm not even going to go too deep into it, but we're going to talk about representation. And then, as you can see, these are the number of the mainstream films. We're going to talk about a few things that it goes beyond this a little later in this whole broadcast. So we're talking about the top 5 films, top 5 Black films, animated films. So you just make sure we are clear what you're looking at. So right now, before we get into number 1, we got a couple of honorable mentions, and we'll talk about why they're honorable mentions in a second. But here we go. Honorable mention number 1, Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse. And I know all of you probably seen this one, but this was a phenomenal film as well.
Miles,
Yeah.
gotta go.
If you want me to drive you, we gotta go now.
Dad, I'll walk.
Personal chauffeur going once.
It's okay.
Seriously, Dad, walking would have been fine.
Breaking news, Spider-Man saves the day again.
Spider-Man. This guy swings in once a day, zip zaps out, man. So accountability.
Speed up, I know these
it's
kids.
Yo,
waitability.
Miles, man, you get arrested?
Gosh, don't cops run red lights?
Well, yes, I'm due. But not your dad.
Enjoy.
So we know about this, the soundtrack. This is a more recent film. That's why it probably didn't make it to the top 5. But generally, when we talk about marketing, we talk about, Black characters and Black character leads. Miles Morales in this film, generally when from a marketing standpoint was he wasn't the actual lead. They try to market it as, Spider-Man, and then Miles Morales was a part of it. But even though they try to craft it, so if you even look at the advertisement, they didn't generally put Miles Morales in the forefront of this film until, of course, they got a more positive reception that it would be readily more accepted, and then they kind of showcase, more of the Miles Morales aspect of it. And that probably kind of tainted the aspect of it being voted in the top 5, but it's very, very recent and is actually an award-winning film. Actually won an Oscar for Best Animation, from my understanding. So that's that. This is Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse by Sony Pictures Animation.
Okay, so I've seen this movie countless of times, and the way they structured this film, story-wise, not even story-wise, I would say the character of Miles Morales, he's relatable, and he's relatable to kids like me or kids in our generation that felt like they never had a...
Wait, I thought you was grown when you watched this.
Hold up. Well, everybody has a kid in them, so Miles Morales is that relatable kid that everybody had when they were in high school or elementary, where they didn't have a voice or they felt outcasted. Depending on what school you went to, some people were outcasted in public school, some people were outcasted in private school. But at the same time, he fit that personality, like we all can relate to him. So that's the best way I could describe Miles Morales in a sense.
I liked it. Like you said, you always feel like the outcast, and then the way he relates to his parents, his uncle. You always got that cool uncle that, like, you got your strict parents or your cool uncle or your cool uncle. I mean, your strict uncle or your cool parents. There's always that dynamic to give you a chance to vent at the same time. But the story behind, as it went on from there, with the way he related to the other Spider-Man, they made him his own character. He wasn't just another Spider-Man in the world, just getting used to it. No, he became his own Spider-Man, which is what we ultimately want.
Mm-hmm. And I thought it was a really good way. From a writing standpoint, from a production standpoint, and design standpoint, I thought it was a phenomenal film. They took some creative risk. They try to give it a comic book feel with the 3D aspect to it. They filmed it offbeat, like all of those different sequences that was embedded in this. And then the one thing about the film that a lot of people don't know, because you got to look at the behind the scenes stuff, is any scene that you pause was just like a straight portrait. So it wasn't fuzzy. It wasn't, it was a straight illustration that you could you know, that you could put up on your wall. You know, and they had some really, really phenomenal scenes. So this was the honorable mention. And then we actually have another honorable mention, what comes way, way back, you know, to one of the first animated films. And then actually this one, you know, I'm gonna just surprise all y'all. You know, those who are 30 plus will definitely remember this. You know, if you under 25, you probably didn't see it. You probably saw it on a rerun level. But Bebe's Kids from Paramount Pictures. You know, Bebe's Kids was actually a phenomenal film. We're gonna talk about that in 1 second. Let me just show the trailer.
I see you got a weight problem. Can't wait to eat.
It started in the mind of an offbeat comedian.
We Baby Kids. We don't die, we.
It grew into the animated world of Bebe's Kids.
I knew she was trouble. I should have known it when I met her. It was at a funeral.
Who's that girl in that black dress?
Woo! She's so fine, make me want to get a job. She told me, she said, if you want to get acquainted with me and my son.
You should take us somewhere like Fun World.
Fun World. So I goes to pick her up the next day. She got 3 more kids with her.
Paramount Pictures presents Bebe's Kids.
Those are double lit pants, so they try to bring it back, huh?
So that right there was based off of a comedy skit that Robin Harris, the late great Robin Harris, did, and they actually made a whole film, animated film, based off his animation. I mean, based off of his comedy skit. First of all, those of you who don't know, who's under 30, probably don't know Robin Harris like that, but he was a phenomenal comedian. And you know, this whole act right here that they made into this animated film, you know, was super funny. And then one of the first, because this actually came out in 92, you know, 92. And when I say the first, I'm not saying the first black, you know, film, but this is one of the first, you know, big films that were, you know, that hit the mass media. Because, you know, growing up, you know, you had the Jackson 5, you had Mr. T, you had all these different series and stuff, but you didn't really have films as much, you know, as far as black animated films. Go ahead, Kaz. I know you want to jump in there because I know this is one of your favorites as well.
Yeah, I like this one. This was a good bit because, I mean, good film because it really stayed loyal to Robin Harris's stand-up. Like in the way he told his stories, even though, you know, Robin Harris was an adult comedian, they managed to make it, you know, kid relatable. I mean, this came out when we were kids. So I just really like the way they all played off each other. It wasn't just Bebe's Kids, it's Robin, it's I forget the name of the characters, but it's just all of them all together. It was a good ensemble cast.
Sean, Leo, and Pee Wee, Rory, yes, T. The whole line. Those ain't double mid pants, son. Trying to bring me back, huh?
Yeah, the cast of this was phenomenal because Faison Love played Robin Harris. You had Tone Loc. You had a number of individuals that was in this. I think Tommy Davidson was in this as well.
Yeah, Tommy Davis. Also, they had one of the immature R&B singers. I forgot his name. Mario or Mark. I forgot.
Marquise Houston.
Oh, Marquise Houston. Yeah, Marquise Houston.
Yeah, so this is like a huge one of those childhood memory films that you could watch over and over again and not get bored watching this. Because it, like I said about with Into the Spider-Verse with Miles Morales, this is also kind of relatable because of misunderstanding, like especially with how certain kids were acting because they were either acting out of line. But it was more misunderstanding. Like these kids, that Bebe's Kids, were misunderstood. They were put in certain situations where they were like, "Oh, if you really got in depth and know the situation, then you'll be like, okay, now I feel sorry for these kids. Now I understand."
Okay. All right. Moving on to the finale of this whole thing. You know, many of you know, because if we already went through 5 through 4 and you didn't see that film, you're going to see it right now. So the number one top black animated film goes to Afro Samurai. And we know Afro Samurai. This was on Spike. I remember watching the 5-part series before the actual film came out. And this was something like the action, the story, the music, all of that. And actually, the film was Resurrection. We were actually showing the wrong one. So the actual film was Afro Samurai Resurrection. This was actually the version that they showed on Spike TV. This was like the mini series that set the whole thing off. That they broke into 5 parts, showed it for a couple of weeks and everything. But this was it, Afro Samurai. You know, the action in here, the music, the story. You know, we could have a debate about the story. But when you watch the animation in this film, it is super, super phenomenal. I know you guys, I mean, being as martial arts, hip hop, it was all embodied into this film here.
Like the one thing about it also is you had like voice actor, like Samuel L. Jackson actually did voice acting for the Resurrection and for the animated series. And also Lucy Liu did the voice acting for the main villain in the story for Resurrection, for those who don't know.
Yeah, for those, a little tidbit for you, you know.
This is a phenomenal anime. Can we call Afro Samurai anime, or do we have to call it a cartoon?
I mean, it is an animated film, so it is an anime.
Okay, so the story. It's like I'm a huge fan of animes when it comes to samurais and ninjutsus and sometimes even fight something to do with martial arts or ninjutsu or samurai culture. This right here is something you must have at your library because in the long run it's gonna be valuable. I ain't gonna lie. Afro Samurai is gonna be valuable, not Samurai, the other one from Cartoon Network. We're talking about the one from Spike and all that, okay?
Yeah. I got this in my I'm sorry, I got a DVD and Blu-ray of this. You know, I know everything has been streaming now, but I do have that as a collectible in my collection. I do have that, as well as all the other films too. But I definitely have this in my collection. You know, so that was the top 5. Hey, let us know what you think. You know, put that in the comments below. You know, we were talking about top 5 films. We're not talking about series because there are a ton of series that were out there. They had Mr. T. They had the Jackson 5. There was a ton of series that, you know, that I grew up on. The Globetrotters. There's a number of series that were out. You know, but we are actually just talking about films today. We just talking about films today. So if your film didn't make it into this top 5, that you felt it, put that in the comments below because we would definitely look to revisit this. And then if we can get 5 top anime films, you know, we might have to go to top 2, top 3. But there are a number, and this is one of the reasons that we're looking at this. This was hard to come by. We couldn't get 10 films. We couldn't get 10 films together. But there are a number of independents. There are a number of independent films that's out there that are servicing the community. There's Malachi. There is Black Sands, who are doing a phenomenal job with their films and everything. So I want to definitely make sure that I shout them out for the stuff that they're doing. They haven't met the mass market yet. But because I'm into animation, I'm into comics, I see all of this stuff. There's a number of things that's coming out. You know, that you need to see. They have a couple of things that's going to be on Netflix. But these are series. These are not actually movies. But understand that the price point to actually get involved in all of this is so high. So you got to have the finances to be able to do it. For the 20-minute film that we're looking to do with the studio, that's $250,000. That's $250,000, just to give you an idea of how much this project would cost. So PB Soldier is something that we have in the works, but we're working on making sure that the fan base is there, as well as the finances for the film is actually there. So this was the top 5 Black animated films. I thank you all for being here. We actually have one more message, a word from our sponsor, which is PBS Media.
Wow, look at it. Isn't it so cool? It's very cool. Cool, I literally...
Hey, give me that book.
That was for the awakening. We thank you all for being here once again. I thank my special guests for being here. Dayveonne, Bussey, we got Khaalis, Finney. Thank you all for being here. Stay tuned. Let us know what you think and continue to do 2 things. Remember to stay focused and always resist. Thank you and have a blessed evening. Peace. Don't forget to subscribe to PB Soldier.